Hey, I'm back, and actually I got a new camera, so tell me down below if this looks better. But anyways, today I want to talk about this crazy story I saw, so let's get into it. Before we start, one of the reasons I bought this camera is because in the future I want to do some live streams and I want to make sure it looks good and hopefully sounds good, but I'm going to be working on that in the future. But anyways, let me know if you're interested in that and I'll try to do some of those. Let's get into the story now. So, first thing we have here is, it says, man arrested for living in elderly woman's home unnoticed for half a year. I was like, what? How did this happen? And this is one of the strange things about Japan. Like, recently, there's been lots of people getting older. I shouldn't say. Recently, there's been people getting older. That's not true. That always happens. But the population itself is getting older because younger people aren't really having too many children, and around like the baby boom era, there were lots of children, and so now the number of elderly people is increasing, whereas the number of younger people is like decreasing compared to before. And so you have this problem where there are lots of older people living alone, and it's become a huge problem. But I still couldn't believe this when I read it. So it says here there's a woman who was 90 years old and she was living by herself, and it says, however, according to police, he's believed to have first entered the woman's home on December 12th at around 7:20 in the morning. He said, which means he probably lived there for about half a year to this day. So this 90-year-old woman had an upstairs and a downstairs in her house, like usual, and basically a 20-year-old man went to the second floor, which the 90-year-old woman didn't go to often because I imagine she had bad knees or mobility problems. And he was just living in there for half a year. And her son eventually came to check on her and see how she's doing. And he heard something upstairs, like, what is that? And he went up there and checked, and there's just this 20-year-old guy just sleeping in there. And he called the police, and the guy was arrested. And they asked, like, the woman, like, do you know this guy? And she's like, no, I've never seen this 20-year-old man before in my life. It's like, what is going on? But apparently, because this woman was 90 years old, she couldn't hear him up there. And also, he said that sometimes I would go and I would even put my shoes in the like entranceway of the house. So if you've ever been to Japan, they have this area called like Ginkan. It's like the entranceway of the house, and it's usually made of like, I don't know, rock or cement or something. And then there's a step up into like wood floors. And in this small entranceway, you put your shoes down and you leave them there until you go out. And he said like he would even leave his shoes in the entranceway, and I was like, what? And apparently she didn't notice for half a year. But I was like, oh my god. This story was unbelievable. I didn't even understand, like, why would you do this? Why do you want to live in some woman's house for half a year that you don't know? Maybe he didn't have a house, but I was like, hardly seems possible. Anyway, so I thought this was interesting. If you did too, leave it down below. And if you'd like me to do more videos like this, give me a thumbs up and let me know. But until next time, see you.